Hello friends, today we're going to be doing the reading for the new moon of October, and I am in a different location, so I only have one tarot deck to work with, and therefore that's what we're going to use. It should work fine, and I've used 3 major arcanas from that tarot deck for you to pick from. So pile number 1 will be the Emperor, the second one the Hermit, and the third one, the High Priestess. So, the question, as always, is what is the best seed to plant and what should we be getting started on the new moon, on this particular new moon? Okay, so I'll meet you on the reading. All right, take care. Hello, Emperor. Today we're talking about the new moon of October. We're going to take a look at what is recommended by the cards for you to begin with this new moon, what kinds of seeds should be planted, and what kind of expectations you might get after you plant the seed. Hopefully, you will enjoy this reading, even though I don't have any tea leaves or spirit animals today. So let's get started. All right, let's see what jumps out for you, Emperor, to help you the most with the next couple of weeks, starting with the new moon. This one flipped. All right, here we go. Let's take a look in the order in which they came out. So I'm going to include the Emperor in this reading because, after all, it is your choice. So let's take a look. Now, the Emperor generally has to do with control and efficiency and the stability, significant stability, and being able to control what's going on in your life quite well, quite strictly actually. So let's see. In this case, the Emperor, as you can see, is dressed in yellow, just like the emperors would be in China a long time ago. Okay, so let's see what we got. We've got the 4 of Pentacles, we've got the 9 of Cups, the Wish card, the Magician, the Queen of Wands, the 6 of Swords, Temperance, Ace of Pentacles, Ace of Swords, and the 6 of Wands. All right, so let's try to see what is coming up here. The 4 of Pentacles is generally having to do with being a little bit worried about your resources and trying to control how you spend, for example. Could be resources to do with money, usually it is, but it could also be other kinds of earthly resources. The 6 of Swords indicates a moving forward, moving to calmer waters. And Temperance has generally the connotation of transforming something, but also being patient because it doesn't move very fast. Okay, then we have the 9 of Cups, which is the wish fulfillment, similar to the Star, but a little less intense. And the Ace of Pentacles, which is like a new beginning around usually finances or things to do with your earthly resources again. So something, it could be like health, it could be your home, it could be many different types of things, but generally material things, things of the earth, if you will. And then we have the Magician, which is the ultimate manifester, the Ace of Swords, which is a new beginning, a new perspective, and then the Queen of Wands and the 6 of Wands, all to do with action. Okay, so it looks like In the end, you're going to be asked to take some action. These cards are implying you should be taking some action. Now, let's see what kind of action. So, where are you coming from? You're coming from wanting to feel a little more in control in your life, probably around finances, or maybe around sort of the space that you have, where you are, where you're living, or that could be physically or figuratively. So we'll get into that a little bit more in a minute. And you're trying really hard to transform the situation, to move to calmer waters, if you will. And it looks like you're going to achieve it. So we're looking at the Nine of Cups, which is wish fulfillment, your wish coming true, and a new beginning when it comes to material things. So finances, for example. Probably it's about money. I'll stop saying material things. Just if I say money and it doesn't ring true for you, but it rings true in some other area, just take it as it flows. It looks like you are manifesting by changing your perspective. So the Ace of Swords can be a new paradigm, a new way of thinking about things, or a new idea, right? A new inspiration. So in order to get to the action, you need to go through this manifestation, using your mind, using a new perspective to begin to manifest what comes to action and to reality. So this new moon is telling you you absolutely have the potential to transform. And if anything, you might already be starting to transform your current situation in a way that you will love, because it's a wish fulfillment. But you are not quite there yet. And as with everything in the material frame, you first need to conceive of it in your mind, in your spirit, in order for it to come to life. You also, next step is take action. And the Queen of Wands is all about taking action. She's also taking action with joy, with happiness. You see, she's holding the star. I think I mentioned to you that the Nine of Cups is like the star in the sense that they're both about a wish and a dream, but this is less intense than the star is. So she's holding the star, which means she's able to make this happen, this dream happen, and she knows that she can. She has no doubts about her abilities, about her intuition. She trusts herself. Okay, and then here we have the Six of Wands, which has to do with actually, taking wing. Look at him. He's going and succeeding. He's taking action consistently and he's succeeding. And it's not going to take that long or be that hard. So, in summary, what is your reading trying to say? At this point, without any more cards, and I will add some more cards just to make sure, it's saying that you're on the right track, that you know what you need to get done. You have been quite patient, and now is the time to really take it to the next level. You have the door is opening. You have the new beginning, you have your wish fulfilled, and so the next step is to visualize, imagine what it is that you're going to want to create, and then start taking action. In this case, he's a mouse. He takes small steps, many small steps. Look, 6 small steps, right? The Queen of Wands is the confidence. She knows she can get there, but actually the way to get there, according to the cards and the current reading, is little steps, right? So what you want to be doing with the new moon is taking a look at what is it I want to accomplish now that this has been achieved, or at least started to achieve. How do I make the rest of the dream, because it looks like part of it is opening up for you right now. How do I make the rest of the dream come true? What do I need to do in order to achieve the ultimate goal? So, and then once you know what you need to do, then you start to take action. Now, it never hurts when you get the magician to include visualization in your life, maybe every evening, to visualize what you really want, because, you know, manifesting has many facets and it may require that. But definitely, at the very least, start thinking about it. Start figuring out what you're going to need and where you want to go, you know, sort of be clear on where you're headed, okay? And now let's add the ones that jumped out. 5 of Cups, Strength, Queen of Cups, 8 of Pentacles, and 8 of Swords. Oh, 2 8s in a row. Okay, that's good. All right, so essentially, this is just adding to what we have above. You are wanting control. You are wanting to feel like you're progressing. You must have had at some point a feeling of loss, like, you know, everything you had was kind of pointless for some reason. I'm not sure what the reason might be. We can look into that a little bit more. But essentially, at this point, you have managed to get past it, right? And get to a point where you feel relatively secure. And you're just worried about losing what you've got, but you feel relatively secure, and you've been very patient and worked really hard, used all your strength in order to, you're a very strong person, in order to get there, okay? And so now with this door opening for you, it may have to do with a relationship, but it's sort of a generous thing that is happening all of a sudden. Something, the Queen of Cups is very generous, and it's making you happy. It's an emotional kind of card. She's very nurturing. So it's something that's nurturing you that have suddenly come into your life or will shortly. And that will open the door to be able to move forward and continue building on what you've already done with sheer strength, willpower, and patience. Okay, and here we have the 8 of Pentacles. So here is where you want to look at not only what is it that you want to create, and how you're going to visualize it and how you're going to create it, but also how much work do you want to put into it. And I know that sounds weird, because mostly in our world, everybody says, you know, rock into it, put a lot of energy into whatever you're trying to start in order to get it off the ground. That may be, but because you have this new opportunity, the idea is to think about that you're going to start it the way you intend to continue. All right? If you're a person who, if whatever it is you're going to start is something that fills you with energy and that you love and that you're going to want to spend, you know, tons of time doing all the time and thinking about and whatever, that's great. But if you're a person who needs free time, needs alone time, needs time to just be, wants to have time to spend with their family or other things and not necessarily be constantly focused on this new endeavor, however exciting it is, then define for yourself what is the optimum rhythm that you would like to have. What is the rhythm that would make you feel like you're truly progressing, but at the same time, you are doing it in a balanced and effective sort of way, in a way that works for you. Okay? It's really funny that this guy, I forget the name of this animal, but it's funny that he is kicking things and whatever, because if you see them in real life, they're moving really slowly. So it could be, it gives you that idea that it could be either way. it's up to you to determine how you want it to be and then to follow through. And then when it comes to taking action, here it says you feel like you don't know what the action is. All right. You're feeling a little bit like, okay, so what would be the next step? You're not sure. So maybe that's why we've got here the Six of Wands, the little mouse. Maybe what you need to do is try several things at the same time, right? Not, I know that people say focus and specialize and so on. And that may be true, especially if you want exponential growth. But if what you're doing right now is trying to aim towards your dream and you're not exactly sure how to get there, then experiment. Try several things at the same time. See which one pops. See if there's any results. Don't give up after one try, but and make sure you keep in mind your joy. Remember, the whole idea is to do something that is going to fill you with joy. It's a wish fulfillment. It's something completely new. It's a different, maybe not something completely new, but it's a completely new way of looking at what you're going to be doing. All right. And that's exciting and positive. But you need to not backslide into old habits, and try to do things the old-fashioned way or the way that you've done all along, except maybe keep the habits that got you to this point, right? Because obviously you had a difficult time of it before. But moving forward, give yourself the space to figure out exactly how you want to move forward. Okay? And it never hurts to try different things. If they don't work, you learn. Anyway, that is the reading for today. Now let's see if there is any kind of advice or summary to close the reading. All right, these two wanted to come out. 3, okay, 3. 9 of Swords, 4 of Swords, and 10 of Cups. Okay, well, I think anybody who looks at tarot quite a bit would be able to summarize this, but basically, you're worried. You're very worried, but there's no need to be. These are not real threats. You are just concerned, and that's reasonable given what you've gone through, but nothing is going to come blossom into reality. None of your fears are going to come. They say that sometimes all the fears that we try to prepare for and are afraid of, that's not what happens. Something else might happen. You can't prepare for that. But the truth is, in this case, this is saying just chill, relax, take time for yourself, breathe into it, and focus on your joy. This is going to be a very positive move for you. And you just need to keep going at the right rhythm for you. Okay, I hope you enjoyed your reading. And next reading will be back in the original location with all the cards. Okay, all right. Take care of yourselves. I am looking forward to, if you want to tell me, to hearing about how it progressed for you this new moon. It's very exciting. It would be fun. You share, and then that way other people will feel inspired as well. All right, take care. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Hello, Hermit. Today we're talking about the new moon of October, and we're gonna, pull some cards to see what you should focus on starting, and what is expected as a result. You picked the Hermit. The Hermit is all about going inward and learning about yourself and taking that light and then eventually sharing it with the world, the light that you have in the lantern over here. But being the Hermit, obviously here we have the Hermit crab. It does imply some alone time, some time to ponder and to really dive deep into yourself and figure out what it is that you truly want. So I'm going to use this as the start of your reading, okay? And here we go. Since I'm working with only one deck, let's pull some cards. Let's see what wants to come out for you, Hermit. A lot of people are going through this sort of need to, that's a lot of cards, but okay, we'll take them. Since this one came out, I'll put that one down first. All right. A lot of people are going through this, myself included, where we're trying to sort of get to know ourselves again, right? And figure out what is the best next step for me. So it's also a time of a lot of chaos and a lot of changes, which also bring opportunity. And so things may be coming up that you never thought you might have that opportunity or that you might have to deal with. And so bringing stuff up from inside that you need to then address. So let's see what the cards have to tell you. So the moon, obviously we're talking about a new moon reading, but I don't think that's exactly what it's trying to say. Let's keep going through. Oh my, lots of major arcanas for you. The Devil, the Seven of Cups, the Queen of Swords, the Two of Pentacles, the King of Swords. Oh, interesting. The Three of Pentacles, the Six of Swords, the Ten of Pentacles, and we have three more, which I'm going to put aside for now. We'll use them as we go along. Okay, so the Hermit and the Two of Pentacles. It looks like you've been working really hard, and you've been feeling a little bit overburdened, but also you have a sort of a choice coming up that you're not sure exactly how to handle. You've been still keeping the balance more or less, mainly by going inside internally and getting to understand, is this the life that you want, right? And exploring possibly other things. Now the moon can bring illusion, it can blur things a little bit, it can make it a little hard to know what this situation is, what the state is, what you should be doing. But the King of Swords is all about clarity, right? Mental clarity and taking control from a logical and clear perspective and being able to see everything from at a high level, see everything that's going on and understand it, okay? Then we have the Devil, which is temptation, all right? Temptation, sometimes it can be addictions and so on, but it's mainly temptation and your own restrictions that you're putting on yourself. And then we look at the Three of Pentacles, which has to do with working with others. Okay, in this case, this Three of Pentacles is very perky. Usually they're quite serious in the traditional decks, but this one, look at them, they're having so much fun together. All right. And then we look at the Seven of Cups. Has to do with choices, making choices, but also having choices. And in this case, it looks like this animal, sea animal, what is it, a swordfish maybe? I don't know. He has made a choice. There's 6 choices on his sword, and there's one here on the side where he, in his flipper, which it seems like is the one that he's chosen. Interesting. And the one he's chosen has stars around it, but then so do some of the others. But it looks like it may be, sort of a dream that they've chosen. Who knows? Then we have the Six of Swords, which has to do with transitioning from one place to another, from one idea to another. and the Queen of Swords, which is the partner to the King of Swords, and she's often in control, very efficient, very effective, probably not the most mushy kind of person, but definitely someone you can count on to get things done. And then the Ten of Pentacles, which is a wonderful card, super happy, lots of abundance and lots of joy, family joy. I don't know why they have a raccoon with the Ten of Pentacles. It's kind of interesting, but he seems like a happy raccoon, so that's a good thing. All right, so in this case, it looks like we're talking about you have been a little bit, I won't say stuck, but a little bit overburdened and trying to figure out what your next step is, trying to go inside, get some peace, try and figure out what your heart desires, what your star is, right? This is the same star as the star, it's just in his lantern. Just trying to figure that out in order to be able to move forward in the right direction. And although there's been some confusion and some inability to see clearly around this topic, it looks like now you've gotten an inspiration, a clarity that you didn't have before. So at this point, you know what it is that needs to change, if anything, but you're not quite sure what needs to happen to make it happen, if you will. It's interesting because I see the temptation, the devil, along with the Three of Pentacles. And working with others is really the most likely definition of Three of Pentacles. So there could be two interpretations for this. Oh, maybe more, probably many more, but I'm going to give it a shot. You might be someone who is currently working and feeling a little bit like working from home, feeling a little bit alone, feeling like you would like to be working with people who were positive and helpful and could help you reach higher, all right? In that case, this is implying don't be tempted. Don't go in that direction. Even though it is something you would like to do, it doesn't seem to be the right direction for you. The other possibility is that you're feeling like the people who are working with you are not really helping. They're being critical, they're being difficult, they're just standing around, whatever. And maybe you're tempted to tell them what's what. It's also telling you don't be tempted. Basically, the focus should be on you, not on the external influences, let's say. Do not release the need for external validation in this process, right? You need to focus on what's important to you. And when you do, we're looking at here you've already made a choice. You know which way you want to move forward, right? You know what you want. And then the question is, it will require a shift, a move, either of work or of home or of location on the planet. I don't know, but a shift, or even it could even be a psychological move where you're moving from caring too much about what everybody thinks to a place where you're calm and you're centered and you know exactly what you want to do, and whatever other people think don't affect you. So it could be any of those, right? But in the end, it looks like you're in control. You are super efficient and you're able to create exactly what it is that you want to create. So your seed has bloomed into 10 seeds, right? It's absolutely fantastic. It's going to work really well for you as long as you retain that clarity that you got here and that focus, right? Stay focused on what you decided you wanted, and then you cannot fail. And then, of course, you need to make a move towards that decision. But it's interesting because this reading is very heavy on the swords and on the mind. So whatever it is you've chosen is very logical, very it's not woo-woo, let's put it that way. It's clear, and it will get you the results that you're looking for. So now let's take a look at these 3 cards and see what they have to add. The Emperor, the Knight of Pentacles, and the 10 of Wands. Okay. So the Knight of Pentacles, actually, I'll bring them down here because they're kind of not the end. It's just additional. So here we go. The Knight of Pentacles is a very careful and, oh, sorry, you can't see it well. Here we go. The Knight of Pentacles is a very careful and structured kind of person. He moves forward, definitely. He moves things forward, but he moves them one step at a time, one logical, secure step at a time. And in that way gets to his result, all right? So the Emperor is also a very careful, well, maybe not so careful, but he's a very structured kind of individual. He chooses, he controls, he directs, but it's all very grounded and with a very strong foundation. And he knows exactly how to get where he wants to get. And the 10 of Wands is like, okay, well, the hard work is over. It's coming to an end. So that means, or the burden at least, is over and it's coming to an end. I don't think the hard work ever comes to an end, to be honest. But the burden is. So it looks like so long as you keep on track with your vision, with what it is you know you want to do, you want to achieve, and you keep things steady. So in other words, don't go nuts. This is not the Knight of Swords trying to rush like a crazy person to get where he needs to go. This is the Knight of Pentacles who's moving steadily and certainly towards his goal, but he is not overextending. Same thing with the Emperor. The Emperor says build on a strong foundation and move with care. Okay? But if you do that, the burden will be lifted and you can move forward and exactly to full abundance. Okay. So given the reading, I have a feeling this is about financial abundance, but it could also have to do with other types of abundance in your life. So it's interesting, I was listening to, unfortunately, I don't remember his name, but a hypnotist on YouTube, and he was talking about how when people talk about, you know, being rich, they talk about always money. But being rich is more than financial abundance. Being rich is being rich in friends, in family, in home, in environment, in many different things. And so it's an interesting experiment to ask yourself, if I had all the money in the world, would I change my home location? Would I change my friends? Would I change the car I drive? Whatever. And that will give you a sense of what area in your life you're already wealthy in, you're already rich in, and what areas actually can need some improvement. I think that's an interesting experiment to do. But regardless, this is talking about full abundance. 10 of Pentacles is a peak moment where you feel like everything's working in your favor. Okay, so brilliant. So the new moon is saying, take some action, move in the direction of your dreams, move there with care and based on your foundation and your clarity that you already have, and you can't fail. How wonderful. All right, well, have a very good rest of your day, and I look forward to hearing from you if you like in the comments, so you could tell me what this is referring to in your case and inspire others. Okay, take care. Bye. The new moon of October. What is going to be the new steps or the new seeds for you to plant, and what expected results you might get? And since you've picked the High Priestess, you could be in a situation where you are keeping secrets, you have secret knowledge, or you might be simply a very, very intuitive person that is feeling very connected to the universe at the moment. Certainly very connected to the moon. So I'm going to use the High Priestess in the reading because I only have one deck today, and let's see how it goes, okay? So let's pull some cards. Oh, okay. Let's see, do we need more? Maybe a few more. Six of Swords has come out in the other two readings as well. Everybody's getting the Six of Swords. That's quite interesting. All right, well, I'll take this one, but let's see how many we have and we'll go from there. All right, since this one came out, no, it came out at the end, so we'll put it at the end. Okay. All right, so we have the King of Cups, Strength, Five of Cups, and the Moon, Seven of Pentacles, King of Swords, Page of Pentacles, Ace of Wands, and Six of Swords. Okay, great. All right, so High Priestess, what is this trying to tell us for the new moon? So it looks like you've already planted quite a few seeds, right? And it's actually coming to the point where there's harvest. You've already moved forward based on your intuition and your emotions and your mind. You've combined everything into a very effective kind of process that is growing your seeds, which is really great. Emotion, communication, maybe it has to do with something on social media, or maybe it's just you are in an area where you take care of people. But whatever the reason, things are moving quite well. Your intuition has not let you down, or your secret knowledge, which you might have and maybe might want to share. You're a very strong person, and you have a lot to do, right? You have a long list of things to do, but it's really fun. Like, it's this sort of feeling of novelty, of innovation, of excitement. And yes, it requires a certain amount of strength, probably because it requires more hours than you thought it would, or that you wanted, than you would ideally want. But you are moving forward, and you're having so much fun with it that you don't mind. At some point, you feel like, though, pretty depleted. So you're not quite sure. The moon does not give you clarity sometimes, right? It gives you ideas and intuitions and and visions, but it doesn't give you clarity. And so you don't really feel like you have enough clarity to resolve that, because you are having fun. You're tired, but you're also having fun, and you're not quite sure how to move forward. And so what it's telling you is you do need to move to calmer waters, figuratively, I think, in this case. Sort of give yourself the space to be able to support yourself and take care of yourself so that you are able to continue doing everything that you're doing. And there is a way. It's not clear right now, but that is the direction of your new moon. Okay, this one wants to come out, of your new moon guidance. So let's take a couple more and see what else it has to say. Okay. Is that it? Any more? No. Okay. So we have 4 more. Judgment. Okay. 2 of Pentacles. Okay. The Hanged Man and Justice. Okay. Wow. All right. So just because it's a new opportunity, because you've transformed, because you are seeing success and so on, doesn't mean you need to suspend your judgment and not take care of yourself. If you do, you will find yourself overwhelmed eventually. So right now you're still able to juggle everything, and that's great, but you're juggling and you've got 1 foot left on the ground pretty much. So the idea is to look at it from a different perspective, or to literally take a break. Hold on, I'll move this up a little bit. So, yeah, or literally take a break to think about how you can make this work in a more balanced way. All right, so Justice is telling you, you need to be fair to yourself as well. All right, it's not all about the project. It's not all about following your joy. Yes, that's wonderful. And that's what you should do, because following your joy gives you a certain amount of energy back, even when you're spending the energy. But you still need to take care of yourself. You still need to move to calmer waters. And therefore, the recommendation is plant the seed, as start to think about, how can I do that? How can I do that without damaging anything, or without any significant impact on the beauty that I've built, right? So that would be the Hanged Man. Maybe you just need a vacation. Yeah, instead of slowing down, you just need to take a vacation and then come back with full energy. Or maybe what you need to do is think about where your boundaries are in terms of putting limits on your time. Or maybe because you're having so much fun, and that's unlikely, what you need to do is take a look at it as in a different way. So maybe there are certain things that you're doing that are not actually having that much effect, that you could probably either delegate or get rid of, or whatever. But regardless, the guidance is, with this new moon, find a way to give yourself the space to not be overwhelmed, because it looks like you're heading in that direction. And if you don't do something now, it may come to the point where it actually affects your project and whatever it is you have built. Okay, so that is your reading for today. Wow, that was quick. Let's see, maybe it can tell us what project this is, because I'm very curious. Ooh, okay. 4. Let's see if we're allowed to know what project this is. 4 of Cups, Ace of Cups, 5 of Pentacles, Page of Cups, the World, and 8 of Cups. Are you a coach are you a coach, or are you somebody who helps others explore their joy, how to get where they want to go? where they don't know where they are, to find opportunities or to improve their life. That's the impression I'm getting. Somebody who's helping others improve their life through creativity, and giving a lot of attention to themselves and to what it is that would make them happier. Also, it could involve international travel or international people, or anyway. It seems to give you great feeling of purpose. So it sounds really nice. I hope it continues to do extremely well. I hope you take your own advice and take care of yourself before it begins to affect your help of others. And how wonderful. I wish you all the best, and I hope to speak to you in the next reading. Oh, and by the way, if you wouldn't mind and you want to, put a comment below and tell me what this project of yours is about. I would be thrilled to hear about it, and it would inspire others. So anyway, thank you very much, High Priestess Pyle, and I hope you have a wonderful new moon. Take care. Bye-bye.